finished reading the shattering yesterday. And I know something. I know something. It said that false that wild hammer, false that wild hammer was going to be on the council of three hammers, but in the beta it's Kerdrick, wild hammer, and false that is not in the game at all. What happened to him?
Isn't Falstad dead? Falstad dead? Isn't Falstad dead? Falstad dead?
No, he survived. He survived. He survived. He survived. He survived. And in fact, he was the leader of Mary P. in Vanilla WoW at Thrill Wrath and Glitch King.
Of course. Right.
What happened to him?
Isn't Falstad dead?
No, he survived.
Isn't Falstad dead?
No, he survived.
Isn't Falstad dead?
No, he survived.
Yeah, Alex, what's up with that? Thanks for pointing that out. We're gonna get that fixed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The always classic red shirt guy. He will probably make an appearance this year at BlizzCon if you guys are going. Just another little extra added hype to start off the old program. What's up, everybody? Hello, everyone watching the YouTube VODs, everyone here in the chat room. It's always good to see you guys stopping in and checking us out every week. We appreciate it. Well, and welcome to episode number 38 of The Edge. Of course, I am your host, Sean Clark, otherwise known as Valise, around Azeroth, or now I'm known as Vils, because I had to change my name because I changed servers, so now no one knows who I am, which is kind of cool. Coming up tonight, so someone knows. If you guys stalk me enough, you'll find out. We're going to be talking about ways you can level like a pro in Warlords. Matt's going to detail all that for you. We're going to speculate on BlizzCon 2014. And then we need to get the hell out of here because we got to pack it because some of us are flying on planes in like less than 12 hours, which is super exciting. Sorry, Will. But first, as always, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Matt Lowe. Matt, buddy, I know you're excited. I can tell. I can see it in your face.
Yeah, stress level's high, like air traffic controller level high, just about. I still gotta finish packing, got a whole bunch of stuff to do. Week was otherwise uneventful. It was just counting off the days and looking at the clock until, BlizzCon. So, yeah, that was my week.
Nice.
Low key.
Katie, what's up?
I've been dabbling in making guides and video editing, which I haven't done in probably 12 years.
Sucks,
so
huh?
Did you say baking
It
guides?
is kind of exhausting,
It
but
is.
it's fun.
Did you say baking guides or making guides?
Making guides. Like, I did a
Sure.
little blurb for the Day of the Dead and had some complications because I was going to live stream, like, the guide and stuff and things
You know
happened.
how cool it would be if you made a baking video about raid bosses, but as you were like baking it, you were like talking about the raid encounter itself, and then at the end, instead of downing the boss, you actually eat the product that you made, which actually resembles the boss itself.
Giant brownie.
Yeah,
Dude, this is
make
like the
a
greatest
giant
YouTube thing.
lava cake and call it the Sulfuran Slammer.
Yeah, like, are you serious? I just came up
Yes.
with $1 million idea.
This is it.
That's it. We're done, guys.
I'll do that in my downtime the next time it's a year in between new raid tiers. How's that sound?
Just how easy I think it could have been with like the blobs and stuff, like Next Rems. You could just get like the dots, you know?
Yeah. What would be fun is somebody made like drinks for every class and spec that are all like fancy.
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah, I got a 4 Loco for Rogue. I was like, oh god, that drink is awful. Even though, to be fair, I do drink a lot of raspberry vodka and Red Bull, like Stoli raspberry vodka and Red Bull. So it's kind of the same thing, right? It's energy, alcohol,
maybe
fused together. I don't know. Well, dude, what's up?
Yeah, speaking of guides, I am not baking some guides, but I am feeling the stress that I need to get some raid guides out in time for the expansion because, 12 days? No.
I mean, it's coming
9
right
days? 9 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 days, and I need to do 7 guides. Which, I'm not going to be doing that BlizzCon thing, so I got time. It's cool. But I am excited to see what comes out of BlizzCon and getting ready for the expansion and all that other fun jazz. So, yeah, exciting times. Exciting times.
Yeah, I am also super excited. I fly out in less than 12 hours, making all my final preparations right now. I had to get my BlizzCon badge all settled away, flight stuff done, packing I still need to do. I still need to go see a couple of people before I leave and take care of a couple of things. But for any of you guys that are watching the show or in the stream or whatever, I am going to be at LAX from like 1 to 6 tomorrow. And I'm going to be bored out of my friggin' mind. So if any of you guys are there and you just want to hang out and grab some food, that's always cool too. So
are you like telling people to come find you at a certain time and place? That seems a little.
Just come
didn't
find
we just have this chat about like, you know, being careful? And
just don't be like weird about it. You know what I mean? Like don't come up and like.
Well, he's at an airport. I mean.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty safe.
Yes. You know? Yeah. Still.
Plus, they need a ticket to be where I'm at because I'm not going to leave the terminal. I mean, I'm going to get food. And I'm waiting for my buddy, so I am flying Delta, by the way, so I'll be in that area. So that's what's going on with me and my happy life. So there you go. Lots to talk about today. Before we get into Matt's leveling stuff, what's going on with that virtual ticket?
It can now be gifted. In the past, I believe the giveaways that were going on, you'd basically get BattleNet balance and then you could go buy the ticket, but now you can actually just buy the ticket for someone and gift it, which is a nice feature. I hope they implement that for heroes as well, as far as like buying skins or buying heroes for people.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a couple places start to give them away. Like I think WoW had one, and some other people have some, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I've never seen virtual tickets given away, so there you go.
I'm really surprised Blizzard doesn't do some sort of like, we'll give you the first day free, but you get paid for the second day kind of thing. It's like they hook you. And they're like,
they
not
do.
all of the streams. Some streams are just available to watch.
Right, but isn't it like the arenas and stuff?
Yeah.
Like usually WoW Championship Arena is usually streamed, and what about the WCS is usually streamed as well, Global Championships, and the Hearthstone, I believe.
Well, usually if you're on DirecTV or whatever it normally is, they usually give you like the opening ceremony, but then that's it. It's like, okay, and now if you have the virtual ticket, we'll see you on the other side, but otherwise they're just like, boop, done.
Yep. Just because they're that way. So preparations for Warlords are pretty close. If you guys haven't done any of that stuff, you should certainly have done it by now. But if not, get on it, because about less than 2 weeks, Warlords is coming out, and you're going to be leveling. And guess what? You might want to write some stuff down, because we got our own power leveling Asian beast man himself.
Beast mode.
This dude doesn't like It's crazy. So there's a lot of information here. Write this down, rewind it. Listen to Matt jabber on for a while. So Matt, give us the power, the Nintendo power of World of Warcraft leveling.
You had me going into some Nintendo power there.
I had to mix that in. I thought that was clever.
Yeah, well, it's you're a little dated there, buddy. Okay, so a couple of these tips I'm about to give you guys, some of them might be pretty obvious, but if you're new, if this is going to be your first expansion, actually going through the leveling grind with like everyone else, then I got some pointers for you. If you're the kind of player that prefers to just kind of take their time and read every quest and explore every tree or quest or object or zone, then you can probably skip the next 10 minutes or so because this won't even apply to you at all. But if you're someone who really wants to get to 100 as quick as you can, to really check out, to play the real game, come on now, the end game.
The real game.
Then, that's... So grab a notepad here. Okay, so number one. You're going to get a set of Hearthstones. You got your original Hearthstone. That's the one that you're going to want to set to most of your major quest hubs and little mini towns as you go about there. Okay? The second Hearthstone you're going to get, pretty soon when you unlock your garrison, you will get a garrison Hearthstone that will kind of transport you back and forth from wherever you are back to your garrison. And this is important because every 2 levels, you'll get a breadcrumb that will send you into the next zone. Sometimes the breadcrumb will be located in the zone you're already in, like maybe in Gorgrond or Talador or whatever. Maybe you'll get lucky and find a quest guy that will kick you out to the next zone. If you're not, though, if you don't see that guy there, then what you want to do is you want to blow your garrison hearth right away, go back to your garrison, talk to the giant wanted, that poster board, bulletin board thing or whatever, that'll send you over to the next zone. And these will occur at levels 92, 94, 96, 98. So whenever you ding those even number levels, turn in whatever you're doing and jump back to your garrison and head on over to the next place. Second, you've got your raiding consumables, right? I'm sure everyone here has some leftover flasks or food or whatever. Keep those handy. You're going to want them. 20 flasks of whatever your stat is probably going to be a good idea. If you want, you can load up on a couple stamina flasks too for the later part of the leveling process. Things do hit a lot harder, actually.
Stamina, really?
Yeah, dude, things hit hard at 98, 99, and 100. And maybe that's just because I'm a coffee. I don't know. So I found stamina flasks actually helped me because this way I would survive things that I normally would not have been able to survive with like a sliver of health. So it's an option. If you find that you're dying too much and you're resting at the graveyard, it's something you want to consider. If you're a warrior or a plate wearer or some sort, or you just, you're a tank and you're leveling as a tank, props to you for one thing, then you probably don't need this anyways. I personally like to use sprint potions or speed potions or whatever the hell they're called to go from point A to point B. This is useful if you're in caves or areas where you cannot mount. And I usually use it to just kind of zip around fast. Like if I'm done questing inside a cave and I want to get out of there, I'll just hit the sprint potion and just zoom out. I would not use the DPS potions that we use normally. Doesn't make sense because things die so fast anyways at the low level regardless. So you can probably bank those or sell those or whatever you want. Battle standards. There are 3 kinds of battle standards. You've got your superior quality, your uncommon green quality, and your epic quality. Have those all in your bag. When you drop one, it goes on a cooldown timer, but the other ones also go on a cooldown timer for 2 minutes or so. The range on these, I believe, is 100 yards in either direction. So these are great if you plant them at a point with a bonus objective. Something new in Warlords is that you'll come across areas of the map where there's a bonus objective that involves you killing 30 gremlins and collecting 20 Talbot poop or whatever it is. Drop your banner there and just go to town and start killing everything that you see. If you go out of range of your banner will despawn though, so be careful of that. And remember that when you're done with one banner, it goes on like a 10 or 15 minute cooldown, but you can use your other 2 banners after their 2-minute cooldown is up. So that'll help you out a lot.
That'll be useful if you're in a group too. If you're questing with a group, you can be like, all right, you drop your banner next, and you do this one, so you can get the maximum bonus on. Like I think the top one's what, 15%?
15%, and then I think 10 and 5.
Yeah. That'd be good.
That's still something that hadn't occurred to me before. Duly noted, sir. Duly noted.
One of the more reasons you gotta play with friends.
Yeah. I'd rather not play with friends because they slow me down.
One other thing I was gonna throw in there with consumables is like I'm an enchanter, so I get scrolls of stuff, and so when I replace gear, I enchant it, or if I'm leveling with new stats and stuff, just enchant it as you go because every little bit helps.
Yeah, that's good to have a couple of those lying around. Now, if you're like me, you're a pack rat, maybe your bags are full and you don't have a whole bunch of stuff handy.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a vendor or a little mini pet that lets you interact with your bank or something?
Yes, the Argent Tournament Gruntling gives you a 4-hour cooldown on. You can either access a vendor, your bank, or the mailbox.
Also the mounts too.
Grab that guy. Yeah, grab that guy and keep him with you. And then when you're ready to dump all those greens or whatever, into the toss in your bank, because you're going to want you or your guild, someone in the guild is going to want to disenchant those for enchanting mats, especially from your raiding guild, because your enchanters will want to skill up their enchanting a bit, or they want to make things for make enchants for the new enchants for the gear or whatever that you're going to get at 100. So you want to stockpile those greens. All your crafting mats that you come across, like savage fur or herbs or ore or whatever, you're going to want to dump those every couple hours into your bank as well, just to keep freeing up room in your normal bag space. Thank God all of our ore and herbs and stuff stack up to 200 now.
Yeah, that's huge.
I
mentioned that.
I
talked about that like 3 episodes ago. I was like, see, this is one of those things that's flying under the radar that's going to be a huge improvement to the game. And no one's really talking about it.
I don't think anyone really appreciated the quality of life that that it offered.
It's
just
amazing.
amazing. Yeah. Let's see what else I got for you. Okay, 3. When you're in a questing area, if you're in a questing zone that involves you killing mobs or looting objects or whatever, this is something I notice that people don't really do as much. Try to pre-plan your route ahead of time. If you're killing a mob here, keep an eye out for the next mob. As you're killing one, you should already be looking and scanning for your next target. Not all mobs are the same. Keep an eye on your quest tracker. Sometimes you have to kill a guardian and 3 priests and 4 monkeys or something like that. So keep an eye out for each different one and start moving towards it as you go. And this plays on to my next point. Prep your talents and your specs for instant spells and abilities. The opening areas of the like Tenon Jungle and Shadow Moon or Frostfire, it's going to be pretty tough and competitive because everyone's going to be competing for quest mobs. The quicker you tag them, then they'll be yours for sure. And who knows? Maybe some of the slower players who don't even realize it might just mistakenly assist you in killing them. Now that there's an ethics thing here. Maybe you don't agree with it. Maybe you do. Maybe you don't care. But it's certainly an option. If I shadow or death something before that warrior managed to get right in range, sorry, buddy, you roll the warrior. You got to live with the consequences. So
it's the same thing that happened with all the frog killing in the past 2 weeks, where everyone's like AoEing Druid Starfall OP.
All the things, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was split ice lancing many things, many frogs.
But I think when it comes to speed, it's not going to matter. I mean, it's kind of like, well, just kind of deal with it. I'm just trying to get out of here. If you want to enjoy the game, you can enjoy it at a leisurely pace then, and you can spend longer doing these quests because I'm going to just shoot ahead of you.
Exactly. You just want to jump ahead.
Exactly.
Yeah. When you're turning in quests, that's a common one. Turn them in all at the same time if you can. This one's fairly straightforward, fairly obvious, but if you're new to MMOs or whatever, a lot of bad habits that I see beginning players do is like to do one quest, go back to town, turn it in, and then go about and do the other quest that they had in their quest log that they hadn't done yet. Do everything you can in there, then turn it in at the same time and accept the next patch. So, going back to consumables. Speaking of consumables, get some for yourself. I personally like to have some tea and maybe some energy bars around, and some grapes or something like that. Something that's something you can snack on, something that won't cause a mess on your keyboard or your mouse. Those are good things. I know Sean likes to load up on energy drinks or whatever it is.
I do.
That he does.
Wheat thins.
Yep. Ranch wheat thins.
You want to stay hydrated.
Dude, listen, everyone has their rating food, okay? I don't care who you are.
That's okay. Make sure you get some water and stay hydrated too. If you got to go to the bathroom,
Don't.
Go when you... Well, don't. Go.
Get a bucket.
Whoa.
Inflict bodily harm on yourself for this game.
No, honestly, if you got a flight path or if you're going from zone to zone, go when your character's flying from point A to point B. That's probably the next piece of advice I have for
That's
you.
actually
And
good
that'll
advice.
2 levels, right? Every 2 levels, like I said earlier back on, when you're going from when you got the breadcrumb to go to the next zone, it's going to send you on the flight path anyway. So just hop on the Griffin, and it's no more than a minute and a half, and that should be more than enough time for you to zip to the loo, as we call it up here.
Really, I never thought about that. Like, your dietary habits have a lot to do with your speed of leveling because you have to stop and, go do your business
I'm
every,
man. I'm a pro. I min-max everything down
dude, you
to
don't mess
everything.
around.
Yeah.
You eat you have a liquid diet for 2 days. You're drinking nothing but water and soup.
Water, soup.
You know.
You pre-make
We're
your
talking
food.
about leveling or bodybuilding,
You
man?
you
What's going on
Googled
here?
how to put in a catheter without it hurting too bad by yourself, so you don't even have to go to the
Hey,
bathroom.
this is the Warcraft diet. This is the Warcraft weight loss program that we're now discussing.
This is it, people.
So
This is
Wait. Along the same lines, can I use my kids to fetch stuff for me in order to continue the level?
You happen to have one of those? Yeah, by
Yeah.
all means.
Just thought of this. This is
Not
perfect.
has kids that can do their bidding for them. So by all means, take advantage of
It's
that.
kind of
right?
like the Call of Duty race, right? You guys can just work shifts. You'll play for a while, then the kid will play for a while, and the other kid will play for a while. You'll jump back in. It'll be great, man.
Moving on. So the Taunus Isle introduced things like treasures that you can find and loot. And Miss of Pandaria introduced treasures and stuff like that. You can loot those in Warlords, and a lot of them will give anywhere between 10,000 to 25,000 XP, which is anywhere between 80% to a little over what a quest would normally give you. Not all treasures award you experience points though, but a lot of them do. Like any kind of, I find that mostly items, equipable items, consumables or toys, those give you a nice chunk of XP. So keep an eye out for those as you travel around, and they'll have I believe a purple kind of a glow around them. And
So it's
yeah.
pretty obvious.
Everything's got that kind of, or well, if you hadn't noticed it in patch 6.0, everything's got that little sort of outline stuff unless you turn it off. So
Yeah.
I guess the
That's
sparkly
pretty nice.
flickers stood out to me more, but I'll get used to these ones.
yeah,
Yeah, I miss the sparkle a little too, actually.
Yeah.
yeah.
And Will,
Yes, I got a couple. One may be controversial. We may have our first fight here now.
I'm ready.
First one is, if in case you didn't know this, once you get your garrison going, when you're in your first starting zone, which is Shadow Moon Valley or for Alliance and Frostfire Ridge for Horde, your garrison inn will sell you an XP boost potion. It lasts for 1 hour, and it's a 20% boost to killing mobs and quest turn-ins. But if you're like really interested in making your garrison min-max, that kind of thing, it's going to set you back in building up your garrison. So up to you whether you want to. 100 garrison resources isn't really that much, but it is somewhat of what you'll use later. So up to you whether you want to do that.
Don't forget that does not persist through death, so you
Yeah.
gotta be careful with that one. Like, if you're gonna invest in it, I would say do it at the early levels, because if you've got raiding gear, you're gonna be a little bit more powered up on the front end, as opposed to when you're, barely killing one mob at a time at 80 or 89, 99.
Well, not to mention too that what do people do that week before ratings open after they hit the level cap? They go back in grief. That's what they do. They go back and they kill people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh, you wanna turn this quest in? I know this is really important, right? Oh no, we're gonna kill this NPC."
No,
Yeah.
we don't. We don't do that. We
Yes,
do things
we
like
do.
challenge modes.
Oh,
and
I'm
we
sorry.
do
You play
just-
Alliance. Never mind.
We get prepared for raids where it matters, okay? None of this whole griefing stuff, because honestly,
What's
you
this
guys
griefing
are
thing? I got stuff to do,
You guys are
man.
below me. I got other things
I'm over
to do,
here
yeah.
like killing every Alliance I see. Matt's over in like Stormwind playing like Peggle and WoW. I want
Whatever.
to get the high score,
Yeah.
guys.
Shots fired.
Oh yeah, Peggle on the flight path.
Right?
I missed
See?
that.
That's
That's
why-
Matt doesn't
awesome.
enjoy that. He goes to the bathroom.
That's why we're on PvE Care Bear servers.
Right.
Sean, that's where you are now, Sean.
I know. Now I'm on PvE.
Where
I don't
you
even know what
are.
to do with my life. That's frustrating.
All right, so on questing, so there's this little trick that people have done a few times in expansions and with varying degrees of success, which is why it's kind of take it or leave it type trick. But basically, the trick is the day before the expansion, or actually kind of have to pre-plan it a little bit, but before the expansion drops, you go and get 25 daily quests from the previous expansion. So in this case, it'd be Mists. And you load up your quest log with completed quests. And then you go hand them in all at once when the expansion drops, and you get a decent chunk of experience points. So, for example, someone mentioned you could take all 12 of the Isle of Thunder PvP quests, the PvE quests on Isle of Thunder as well, would get you up to, 12, 13, like 17 quests, and then you can do like 8 Claxy dailies. And so it's basically, the theory is you set yourself up at Isle of Thunder. As soon as expansion drops, you turn all 17 quests in, and then like Hearth to Calaxy or something, turn those in, and then use your little cloak thing, the little, was it Cloak of Coordination, that gets you back to Orgrimmar, and then off you go to, Draenor. But there's, of course, a downside to that. Matt.
Yeah, that downside. I did that one year, and it just, I think it was for Cataclysm, and it just wasn't very rewarding, because it ends up putting you more dangerously close to the pack of people that maybe had to log in queue time, or had to go pick up their copy of their game, physical copy, that sort of thing. So I'm on the daily
I
side
can
of that
tell you,
fence.
I tried this 3 times on different characters, and I was able to clock in at about 1:45 seconds from start to finish before I was in Tanan Jungle.
Wow.
And yeah, so there's if you get it down to a science, it's totally doable. And I think I'm gonna say when I turned in all the quests, I was about 48% or 50% through 91. So it's a little slower at the beginning. You might still be within the pack, but it pays itself off because you get to leave that zone earlier than everyone else will, when you're out in Shadow Moon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
other trade-off in that sense.
I remember I did it for Wrath to Cataclysm. I went and did like a million things in Ice Crown and just handed in all 25 there.
The
It's like
talk dailies.
Argent, and then
Argent tournament, yeah.
those two, and they messed it up. They didn't allow those to give experience at first for like the first 20 minutes, and so my friend handed all of his in and was like, I got 0 experience. And I was like, haha, I waited 20 minutes to get in and I got half a level. he was mad, bro.
Ouch.
He was mad, bro.
Oh.
Wow.
But I think he actually still beat me in the end because he went more hardcore at it. But yeah, anyway, that's it. Take it or leave it. If you like the trick, cool. If not, you know.
My tip would be to just follow Matt around. Just get with someone like Matt, because Matt's done all the work. Just like, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey,
I actually
buddy.
wrote up leveling guides and drew like I used Photoshop and pointed in different routes and waypoints on all my maps for my guild. But I told them a lot of them were talking trash. Like, there's no way Matt's gonna beat us. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give you all my notes and watch as I destroy you guys at leveling. So,
Wow.
yeah, You don't talk trash to the GM, man. I got this.
What if you do lose, though?
I would not lose.
But what
I got 10,000 gold for the first person that beats me leveling on my guild.
If you lose,
I'm
you'll have
transferring.
to give a shout out on the next show.
I'm
Yeah,
transferring.
there.
Launch.
Yeah, shout out. There you go.
No,
Someone
shut up.
beats
No.
you.
That's not happening.
He's still
There's
like,
no
no,
way.
I don't
It's not
care.
happening.
I don't care.
Mark your calendars, everyone. On November 18th, Matt will shout out to the person who beat him.
If anyone gets to level 99 before I do, I'm just going to G-kick him out of the guild.
There you go. See? Part of the perks of being the boss.
Damn. Damn.
So moving forward, we're going to talk a little bit about speculation of BlizzCon 2014. There's a lot to talk about with trademarks of Eye of Ashara. There are some speculations of obviously the Hearthstone expansion, Legacy of the Void for StarCraft 2, and maybe a little bit of something for Heroes of the Storm. But we don't really know, do we? So I guess we'll start with the trademark of Eye of Ashara. So what do you guys think? Do you think it's a WoW expansion, a Hearthstone expansion? Do you think it's something independent? Do you think it's a book? Do you think it's just a big smoke and mirrors? They're just trying to distract us from the good stuff? What do you guys think?
I want to think it's a feint, like the Darkness Below was. I don't know if you guys caught that, but Darkness Below is for Destiny. You don't get any further left field than that.
That was an Activision trademark, wasn't it, though?
No, I actually went and looked up the paperwork. It was filed by Blizzard,
Activision
which made
Blizzard.
no sense.
This is the same company.
Yeah, it's the same company, so that's why I'm like, well,
I mean,
the Blizzard filed it, but then we thought it was for a Blizzard game, but it turns out it's for an Activision game.
Well, maybe they just didn't put the Activision name on it. Maybe they just put Blizzard
Yeah, that's
on
true.
it.
They put Blizzard, just throw everyone
Exactly,
off.
yeah.
That's new players and Blizzard players. That's pretty sneaky.
Yeah, that'd be pretty nice.
Yeah,
pretty
because
nice.
Blizzard doesn't do anything like that ever.
Never.
Ever. So what do you guys think?
I'm
don't-
going to disagree, but I'll let you finish. You have your theories of why it's not it.
I don't think it's going to be related to WoW specifically. Obviously, it's in the Warcraft universe, but there's so many implications that go with Azshara. Like, would Naga be a playable race? But there's a lot of fallacies with the Naga as being playable. Like, they're a great costume. They're an interesting bad guy, but they're really, I don't know. There's not enough
Armor
there for me
modeling
to
would
buy
suck.
into it.
All the armor in the
Yes.
game, the leg plates, like you've got 2 legs, and the Naga don't have 2 legs.
Yeah, or
Which-
feet.
Right.
They would just be
Like
a chainmail sock. A plate sock for the Naga. Not to mention a lot of...
So stupid.
I'm searching Wowhead right now for that. Are there any plate socks in the database?
Wow.
plate socks in the database. Who knows? And the other thing is, like, in Cataclysm, a lot of people were very unhappy questing through Vashir. I loved it. I thought it was beautiful, and it was always empty, so you could truck through that place. But the movement in water bothered a lot of people, and I don't think that they would take that risk of dumping an expansion in the water.
Interesting. Matt.
rebuttal.
Yep, Matt.
Rebuttal? Okay,
know,
so I'm going
tiny.
to go ahead and disagree with Katie here. I do think that there's a very strong chance that this is a WoW expansion. Or alternatively, some kind of console thing, but that's like Plan D, Theory D, whatever it is. And the point about the underwater zones, I totally agree with. I personally liked Vashir, mainly because there was no one in there questing. And I can see why it wouldn't be appealing. There's no way Blizzard probably took the feedback to heart. There's no way they're going to make another three-dimensional Z-axis type of leveling zone because of the way it was received. So my theory is they're going to pull another Pandaria out of the hat. Another continent appears. A wild continent appears, and voila! It is what's that place called again? As Nazjatar, as something, whatever, whatever it's called, like one of those continent Naga-like names, and it's just going to randomly poof appear because
Land?
Vashir or something? No, not Vashir. Vash Grimar.
Sure, there you go. Wind.
Vashman, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Pass.
Vashwala.
Vashwala, yeah, and Ashara being like one of the major lore characters in the game who we still have not yet really interacted with, you know, because we've interacted with her Naga, her servants, and that sort of thing, but we've never actually seen her in action. And I can see her just going poof, you know, raise the sea level up to the surface or whatever it is, and just be like, here's a new underwater themed continent type thing that's on land or whatever it is. So that's what I can kind of see happening here. I don't think they're going to introduce another race. I don't think we're going to see two races. I can maybe see a new class, but I have no speculation on that at all. Because in Warlords, we're not getting a new class or race, so they skipped an expansion on that stuff. So in that sense, I think they're going to introduce something new, either a new class, but I don't think we're going to see a new race. I don't know. And this sets us up for like Kulturas, because it's been gone for like ever, and that was one of the Kulturas Nation. A quick lore aside here, Kulturas was one of the I believe it was an island merchant nation, which essentially served as the navy for the entire alliance. And Admiral Proudmoore, Jaina's dad, essentially ran the whole place. So we had no idea what happened to Kulturas, and maybe it's now back from the depths of wherever it was. So who knows? That's my suspicion. That's my theory.
Chad also says that the place is Nazjatar.
Whatever, dude. You know.
Well, I mean, you were just talking all about this lore, so we're just getting it right over here.
Look, just because I know the storyline doesn't mean I can say things correctly. There's a huge difference. Yeah. All right.
Will, what do you think?
Well, I don't have any strong opinion as to either way, but I'll present the case for it being a Hearthstone expansion, which would be pretty early on in Hearthstone's life. But I think JR put an article up on BlizzPro explaining some, theories on BlizzPro.com. And, yeah, shameless plug. But it was like, well, Ashara is like, if you look at the map of it, the eye of it would be the Goblin area. And there's this cannon also pointed way out into nothing. And anyway, you can get all the details on the site, but it was a pretty compelling case for we're headed that way. I don't know. But then it was like, here's the Hearthstone thing that was a Goblin-themed expansion. I don't know. It's on there. It's pretty interesting.
I have no idea what it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be an expansion for a while because that would make sense. But I don't think it doesn't really make sense for Hearthstone. It just doesn't but the thing is with Hearthstone is they can kind of go wherever they want from here. So they're not limited by like with WoW where they have the lore, they have to kind of follow a certain path. I mean, Hearthstone's kind of like, okay, we make cards. Like who cares what we do? People are going to play this game. So but it would not surprise me to see Blizzard announce the next expansion for Warcraft before we even get the expansions coming now. I think that...
absolutely.
It's going to happen. Even if this isn't it. Even if this isn't the expansion, I think we're still going to see the expansion anyways.
Yeah,
so
we know they're doing two more expansions after Warlords no matter what. They're probably going to announce one of them. And they won't go into details about specifics or whatever, right? There's no way they're going to do that with the Warlords around the corner.
No, but I mean, Chris Metzen has already said this at BlizzCon last year. He said, hey, we're 2 expansions ahead of you guys now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's even if it's like a little teaser trailer, even if it's like maybe like an image of like one person and like walking in the shadows, or you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be something like real minute in terms of content, but it's gonna be enough where it's gonna keep us talking for a long time.
Enough to keep those tinfoil hats afloat and the rumor pot stirred.
So,
And we know that they want to ramp up expansion production and speed up content drops because no one wants to do another year of Siege again, right?
Yeah.
They've
True.
been saying for the longest time that they want to speed up content drops because they know that it gets old and stuff like that.
So what else for BlizzCon speculation? Let's talk more. What's going on at BlizzCon this year?
I don't think anything for Diablo 3. That's the easy one to knock out because there is 2 panels in the whole BlizzCon dedicated to Diablo 3, and it's like, what's next, and the making of the Lost expansion. So no Diablo 3 something.
Diablo 3
Yeah,
kind
I
of had
think-
its year, last year.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
So-
well, plus there's not like Diablo 3 is in a pretty good spot right now, especially making up for a lot of disappointment when it originally dropped, and I think they'll be okay for that. It's not such a big push to be like, "Hey guys, we kind of screwed it up the first time and we're going to make up for it with 2.0 and everything." So,
To be fair, they have made leaps and bounds. The improvements to the game are vast. It's way better. But to kind of be a play devil's advocate for myself here, a friend of mine that still avidly plays Diablo 3 said the only thing that they don't like about the game, even though the gameplay is fun, they've improved itemization and the drop system and all that, but he said it feels like you're in a city where everybody's a stranger. And he said the same thing about World of Warcraft now with the server merges. He said, like, I just log in, and especially with Diablo 3, it's like, it's just you. I remember with Diablo 2, you'd say, you can make rooms and you can make these games. You can interact with people. There's a lot more interaction. Whereas Diablo 3 now is like you just kind of log in and that's it. There's just you don't even see anyone. I mean, before you could join these channels or join these rooms, and you could see little avatars of people at the bottom of the screen, so you knew people were in there with you, and that had more of a sense of like community. Whereas now it's more like you just kind of log in, you're by yourself. And WoW can have the same feeling. Coming from someone like me who just transferred to a new server where I don't really know anybody, you log in and it's just like you see a bunch of people, but you don't know anybody. So that kind of sucks. And hopefully that Blizzard does something to address that, because I used to love the personalized thing about the community, the small community of each server, because everyone knew each other, and it was like a competition to be with other servers. And now that there's merged servers, you're just like, it's just not as fun, in my opinion. So, but you got to figure that Diablo 3 and Heart of the Heroes of the Storm,
Heart of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm are probably not going to get huge announcements this year. Maybe Heroes will go into an open beta at some point in the next year, but
Probably not anytime soon.
Yeah, I
Nope.
mean, that's really not a big deal. This year, we talked about it before. I'll mention it again. This is the big competitive gaming sim year. This is big for the WCS Global Finals for StarCraft 2. Phenomenal. If you guys haven't been watching that, those have just been out of this world. These games are absolutely phenomenal to watch. Hearthstone qualifiers just happened for BlizzCon. And then, of course, they'll probably be talking about the StarCraft 2 expansion, Legacy of the Void. I'm absolutely positive that has to be announced, since they didn't even mention
Release
it last
date.
year. Yeah,
I'm hoping for a release date.
it wasn't even mentioned
Yeah.
last year, so there's absolutely no way they're going to do 2 BlizzCons in a row and not talk about Legacy of the Void. So that's coming. There's a safe bet the Hearthstone expansion will be announced at least. Probably no solid release date from Blizzard, because that's pretty assumed. But at least an announcement. The War of the Warcraft expansion announcement, and maybe even possibly a new title. Something else.
What?
Yes.
What? You really gonna throw that out there? Gonna drop that
I have heard some things. So
things and some stuff.
some things.
There's a
and
2-hour
stuff.
gap on the main stage from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m.
Right.
Think about that for a second. There's no way they're not going to put something up there for that 2 hours in prime time on a day one.
All I was told was to have a really good seat for the opening ceremony.
Well, that's always.
But it was said in a way where it was like, you better have a good seat for the opening. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude,
you're gonna
Sean,
remember
Sean?
this.
good seat, Sean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna be there. Probably be half drunk from the night before, but we're gonna freaking be there.
Hopefully, I won't sprain my ankle this year and,
don't
and
hurt
not
yourself.
have to hobble in.
And don't get creeped on.
To be fair, I sprained my ankle at my hotel because I tripped on a curb.
How did that even
Because
happen?
alcohol and reasons.
Okay. I thought you were just being like klutzy. You're like, bah, sidewalk. Learn how to walk for the first time.
Pretty much.
This-
I'm
this
not
should,
used to having these mortal limbs and stuff.
In Warcraft, I can fall.
I'm used to
not get
having
hurt.
I'm used to wearing a sock and having a tail. There you go.
So, just real quick, just to wrap up this episode for the BlizzCon hype, is there anything real quick, real rapid fire you guys want to see at BlizzCon? What do you guys want to see? What do you wish they would announce? If you were in control of that type of information, what do you want to see?
I'm kind of curious to see if they'll put in anything about mobile, because I know Blizzard's got that in mind, especially with the explosion from Hearthstone. I mean, 20 million players. Like, WoW at its peak was 12 million, and now it's at 7. It's 3 times as explosive.
And mobile is huge nowadays.
So,
Mobile is huge.
It is. And one thing I pulled from the interview that The Instance did with Corey Stockton, also known as Mumper on Twitter, was people constantly ask battle pets on mobile. Why can't I run around Azeroth on my phone? And one of the things that he brought up was that, like, how does that add to the game? And when you think about it, it doesn't, because they designed battle pets in mind to get people back out in Azeroth and go explore. But what I would like to see is still a mobile version, but have it be a separate entity from World of Warcraft, the way that Hearthstone is. It's referential to the Warcraft universe, but it is completely standalone.
So you're saying
the only
Pokemon
tie into
Warcraft.
WoW is the Hearthstone mount. So I think that would be great if they, because the mechanics are there, the abilities, the, tons and tons of diversification within the battle pet system, but to be by itself, and then maybe be like, hey, if you play the mobile battle pet game, then you can get a pet in World of Warcraft or a battle pet mount.
Nice.
Something like that.
Will, what do you want to
That
see?
would be interesting.
If you could pick.
Pretty real rapid. Just the WoW. If there is a no WoW expansion announcement, that would be most interesting to me out of it all.
What about you, Matt? Riveting.
Too many things. I'm just trying to everything. I not more like an information thing, but I would like to see some more community-driven kind of tournaments and stuff for Hearthstone and that sort of thing. Since I don't actually know if there's anything planned for that this year. I know there's the round of 16 that's going on, but something that's a little bit more engaging for the rest of us.
And
mere
BlizzCon
mortals.
does put together a lot of Hearthstone fireside gatherings.
They
If you do live in the
yes.
Kansas City area, so another shameless plug to JR and the guys who set up the Blizz Pro stuff. And they actually gave away some really cool swag last time. They gave away headsets. They gave away some really high quality SteelSeries mice. They're giving away WoW game time. Just a whole bunch of cool stuff just for showing up. I think the entrance fee was like $10 or $5. I mean, it's like really cheap. So, and these guys know what they're doing. They bring some awesome equipment. It's not going to be like, oh, hey, 50 people show up and only 6 of you guys are going to be able to play because that's all the Wi-Fi can support. It's like, no, everyone's going to play. So, and there have been some fireside gatherings where that was the problem. Just the equipment couldn't hold the amount of people that want to show up. So, for me personally, what I would like to see, and this could be a little bit different than what you guys, kind of your train of thoughts, but I would love to see some kind of code that they could give us attached to our Battle.net account in the future, where we could pick our own beta invite for whatever beta we choose. So whether it was StarCraft, Hearthstone, Diablo, or Warcraft, or maybe a new independent title, we are in control of what we choose as a beta. So we can pick and choose what we like. I think that'd be really cool. It gives control to the player and gives them the interest of, since there are now going to be so many games, what do you want to play? We'll give the decision up to you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting BlizzCon and playing our game. So here, let's reward you by letting you choose what you want to be participating in with the beta. Because I think it would be a really cool idea, because the people that always get into the beta are the people that don't want to be in it, and then the people that want to be in it never get into it seems like. So that actually might be a really cool way to combat that. And it's certainly within the technology reach of Blizzard. So that's what I would like to see. Probably won't happen, but again, if we're just speaking hypotheticals here. So shout outs real quick, guys, and we got to get Matt to raid time. But we'll start with, who I want to start with today? We'll start with Will. Never start with
Oh
you.
my god, I wasn't ready. No,
Yeah, I shouldn't have started with
no,
you.
no. I actually don't have one this week. I'll be mad. I don't have one.
Katie.
I want to give a shout out to my WoW playing coworker because, amusingly enough, he gives me good feedback about like a lot of the things that I do in the community with WoW, and I'm get to share that with somebody. And like he comes to me we work together 2 days a week. Every week he's like, "Hey, what's going on in the WoW community this week? Hey, what's going on?" And it's cool to get that feedback and actually know that somebody is excited about the stuff that I got to share.
Nice.
And also has said that they will give some shameless plugs to the show. So I appreciate that. Signal boosts are great everywhere.
Absolutely. Matt.
Shoutouts to all the BlizzCon goers. Yeah.
I want to give a big shout out to the FedEx guy today who helped me put my BlizzCon badge together. That dude is friggin' awesome. I gave him our email address, so if you guys in the show see some guy who just emailed us randomly, I gave him our email address, so we're gonna play games with him. I told him we would. So now you're obligated. Sorry. Other than that, I am going to run the amazing red shirt auto-tune guy again for the next 2 minutes, so that way Matt can just leave Skype and be done with it. But as for us, we will see you at BlizzCon. Hopefully, if you see us, please come say hi. We'd absolutely love to hear from you guys. If not, we'll see you next week when we get back. We'll talk all about it. We'll make Will super jealous. And of course, you can email us edge@blizzpro.com. You can follow the show at edge_blizzprotv. You can follow us all of us on Twitter. You're staring at our Twitter handles right now. And of course, we'd love to hear from you. So until next time, guys, we will see you later.
Finished reading the shattering yesterday, and I know it's something. It said that false that wild hammer, false that wild hammer was going to be on the council of 3 hammers, but in the beta it's Kurdred wild hammer, and false that is not in the game at all. What happened to him?
Isn't Falstad dead? Falstad dead? Isn't Falstad dead? Falstad dead?
No, he survived. And in fact, he was the leader of very peak in vanilla WoW at Thrill Wrath of the Lich King.
Of course.
What happened to him?
Isn't Falstad dead?
No, he survived.
Isn't Falstad dead?
No, he survived.
Isn't Falstad dead?
No, he survived.
Yeah, Alex, what's up with that?
Thanks for pointing that out. We're gonna get that fixed.
Thank you.
Yeah.